Welcome to the Musar video blog. In this week's Torah portion, we're going to be reading about Yaakov and Esau. Jacob and Esau. Yaakov and Esau. And Esau, for those who are familiar, was renowned as one of the great villains in the Torah. And oftentimes we conjure up this image of Esau as a murderer, an adulterer, a thief, an idolater, all the worst things, and we picture this guy who was really despicable, rotten, tyrannical, the worst of the worst. The Arizal, the father of the modern Kabbalistic movement, tells us that that's not the case. Yeah, of course he was a bad man. I mean, the Torah testifies that he did a lot of bad things. He says, but you know, his father was Yitzchak. His grandfather was Avram. But he somehow succeeded in fooling his father. His father thought that my son Esau, he's okay. I know he's a little wild, but he's okay. He's a good guy. If he was so blatantly, in such an open way, that he was so wicked, then there's no way in the world someone as great of the stature of Yitzchak would have been fooled. So says the Arizal that Esau, it wasn't so straightforward with him. And Esau had ideas. He would speak to Yitzchak about his ideas, about his values, and they were good ideas, wonderful, righteous values. And he really believed them. He really, sincerely felt this is the truth, this is the way things should be. However, when it came to action, nothing happened. He didn't live the values that he espoused. But again, he wasn't a faker in the sense that he wasn't just paying lip service to the ideas and didn't really believe them. No, says the Arizal, Esau really believed those ideas that he spoke to his father Yitzchak about. So Yitzchak felt there was a sincerity there in Esau. And granted that he maybe is a little bit wild, but he's really a good person. So it must have been a very, very subtle flaw if Yitzchak couldn't have seen it. Because we all know there's people that we're close to. Eventually, we understand who they are. I mean, they can only fool us a little bit, but eventually you get to know someone and you see through things. So someone as great as Yitzchak surely would see through someone who was a duplicit faker. But Esau wasn't. He really sincerely believed. But what was the problem? This is what we have to take our focus on, is that although he sincerely believed it, but when it came to action, he didn't do it. He failed to live up to those values that he really believed were the right values. His life and his head were sort of detached from each other. He believed something to be right, but it didn't make its way into his actions. Okay, if that's the picture of Esau, then I think it's a worthwhile endeavor for us to take an Esau reality check on ourselves. Ask ourselves, are there things that I really believe to be true, that I really think are important, that I may even be passionate about, and I may be sincere in my conviction that this is the way it should be and this is what I want for myself? And yet, when it comes to living life, I'm not doing it, and I don't even have a plan to make it happen. I'm just not doing it, even though I know this is something I really think this is important. This is really something I want for myself, but I'm just not going to do it. So I'm sorry to say that when I looked inside myself, I found things that, yeah, wait a minute. That's something you want. That's something you think is important. You may even pray for that, but what are you doing about it? So this was an eye-opener. And by opening our eyes, will it solve the problem? Well, no, but it'll make us aware that we have to do something about it. And then we can take the steps to do it. So I'm recommending, let's let's have a paradigm shift at the way we look at Esau. That he's someone who really was sincere about what he believed, but he didn't do anything about it. And then with those lenses, take a look at ourselves and do this Esau reality check. And find out, are there things in me that I really think are important, values that I cherish, but I'm not doing anything about it? And if we discover there is something like that, then the next question would be, okay, let's start doing something about it. It could be a valuable exercise. I recommend it. See you next time.